Good morning, afternoon and evening whenever you are watching this. Welcome to this video. I am your host, Puncture41, and we're going to talk everything Wednesday. Before we get started, do the good stuff, liking the video, sharing it, and subscribing to the channel, much appreciate it. Liking helps the algorithm, sharing gets in front of people's faces, and subscribing is free, and it lets you know that I like the stuff, and it tells YouTube how well it's doing as well. It's a little bit of a good thing to see, because the more numbers there are, the better it is. So, last night there was a podcast that came out which was the Training Guru, and it was with Danny Rull, and it was an interesting podcast. I enjoyed it actually. You got to understand a little bit about Danny and his background and what he's about. It really was interesting hearing him, how he'd gone from one of the trends that are going from an analyst to a coach. The podcast is called Training Ground Guru, so I'll make sure I get that right. But here's the thing. You got the thing, he spoke about how it was coming into the club, how he had to change things, how he spoke to the players. He said how the players were quite quick to get on board with things as well. He spoke about how he got the new players in January, and they came in and hit the ground running and did the job that he needed them to. And it was interesting listening to him talk about it. He said, we all now know what he's doing during the Euros. He's doing a week, so he's doing the first week of the Euros in Berlin, and then he's coming back home, and he's apparently got 5 TV spots on ITV. So we now know that's happening. We know that he's going to be on TV for 5 episodes. So I'm guessing the start of it, and then from there. So it's interesting hearing that's the routine he's going. We got it mildly wrong on the Talking Wednesday podcast. We thought he might be over there maybe a couple of more times. I think we were guesstimating just with us being in Germany, but he'd been in Germany because he knows Germany for the stuff, and he got better contact there. But he spoke, one of the questions that he got asked by the host was about it was a little bit about Chansiri, how he was basically saying how the quote is, because he was asking about what Chansiri's they share the dream. He said he asked if he felt the chairman was on board with the project after momentum was created last season. And this is what Danny said. I hope so. I think it was the reason why he decided to give me an offer to extend my contract. I think we both, the owner and I, have dreamed about the Premier League for a long time, and if we make a good step forward, then we'll have a chance. He also said during the podcast, we have to do a lot of things right. We have to play good football, sign good players. We have to develop the club step by step. Also in different phases like facilities and so on. If we do this, then why not? And he's right. You've got to do it step by step. You can't do it all at once. You have to do it in phases. So phase 1, training ground. Phase 2, maybe sorting something out behind the scenes. So you're talking like a director of football or more people in around to help Danny. Because when Danny was there, when Danny's been here so far, he worked 80-hour weeks and he's been doing everything. So he wants that little bit of help with that and trying to understand that he wants to try and fix that and get that sorted. So you've got to look into that a little bit more. You've got to try and go, okay, that's that. You've got to try and get that fixed. But here's the thing. If we can get the right players in that we've been linked with, if we can get people in to do it, that's fantastic. Now, talking about players linked, though, it looks like one of the players that we've been linked with, i.e. Duncan Maguire, it looks like he's going to Torino in Serie A. Italy and Germany are very good at picking up Americans. I've noticed this. It looks like they're entering talk for him to sign him. So it seems like it's gone a little bit flat on our end. So it wouldn't surprise me if we'd gone, okay, we'll look at other targets and stuff like that. And we've done that. So for me, I am a bit gutted at the same time I'm not. If it turns out to be really good, then fantastic for Torino. We've missed out on a gem. But at the same time, I think we've thrown a lot of our energy in terms of striker in getting Ugbo back. I think we definitely want to get Ugbo back and in the first team picture and around. But I thought the interview with Danny Rull was very interesting. I thought it was very informative. Said a lot about what he's like as a coach. It said a lot about what he expects from players, what fans expect to see. And it's just about building those next couple of steps. And whenever you hear Danny speak, you always remember that he's been in the game for such a long time. but he picked up so much knowledge from so many different coaches, so many different places. Like he was saying, he was speaking about how he was in his homeland of Germany in Leipzig. They've got a place in Leipzig out there, and that feels like where their home base is. It was interesting seeing that. You saw some of the artwork with him being in Wednesday gear behind him. It was very interesting to hear Danny speak how he did, and you got to remember the first time we heard Danny speak since the end of the season. We haven't actually heard a word from him. So it's good to hear him speak and hear his philosophies and hear how he's going to change things. And he made it very clear that he had to come in and change things. He had to maybe change how he plays. Maybe that's why we don't have a world vote now. Maybe because he's changing the way he plays. He doesn't want to play with that style of player there. There's a lot of things that are going to be moving and shaking soon. And the thing is, fans have got to be patient. Things will be happening. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's some deals that are signed off and done. But here's the thing, you have to really look at what we do next with it, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure we're bringing in the right players. The transfer window opens on Friday. Could it be that the window opened Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we announce players? Who knows? It could be. We don't know. Let's just put our hands up there. We don't know. We don't know who's in. We don't know who's out. We do know who's out. Will Volks is out, but we don't know if Iorfa's situation, because that's dragging a little bit. We haven't heard anything from that one. Bernard is currently with Jamaica. We know Cam Dawson's going. Out of the players that we've offered contract to, you could have a situation where Bannon and Palmer, maybe Iorfa, and that's it. The rest are gone. And that happens. That's football. We have to move on. We have to be very smart about what we do this next period in football with Wednesday, because we're in a position where we need to build the right people and have the right people for Danny. Had Danny got a list of people he wants to get in who fit his style of play, who he wants to move forward. It was interesting when he was talking about how he sees it very pressing, and he liked to have a lot of players up and only really have 2 players back. And he said, yeah, it does catch you on the counter, but if you had that high press, and as long as you've got the players in the back line to help with the counter attack, you're fine. Well, surely that sounds to me you desperately want to keep a Dominic Ior for his pace. His pace alone helps you with that. So it gives you kind of an idea what kind of players you might be looking at in terms of for Danny. But we'll see what happens. It's a very good podcast. I enjoyed it. It's the Training Ground Guru. Go give it a listen. Go see what you think. I thought it was excellent. It's really good to hear from Danny. And yeah, we'll see what happens next. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.